This is the story of the street lamp who missed the stars. Barnaby, the street lamp, had stood at the end of Willow Creek Road for almost 80 years. He was a vintage lamp with a wrought iron frame, a round glass globe, and a single amber bulb that cast a warm glow on all who passed by. Barnaby loved his job. At first, it was just one additional lamp, then another, and then a whole row of them, all brand new and shining brightly. And while they were good for the town, Barnaby couldn't help but feel a little left out. The newer lamps were sleeker and shinier than him. He missed their twinkling light and the way they made him feel like he was on just a street lamp, but part of something bigger, something magical. They had fancy globes that made them look like shiny Christmas baubles and modern bulbs that emitted a bright, white light that could pierce the darkest of nights. The modern lamps sputtered and died, leaving only Barnaby still standing with his single flickering bulb. He looked up and gasped. The sky was ablaze with stars. They twinkled and shimmered, filling the darkness with their ancient light. For most of his life, he'd watched over the town, silently keeping watch as children ran home from school. Lovers strolled hand in hand, and old men in rocking chairs slowly faded into the night. For one glorious night, he was bathed in the light of the stars, surrounded by the darkness that made them shine, and he listened to the soft whisper of the wind as it rustled through the leaves, carrying the scent of flowers and freshly cut grass. As the first rays of dawn touched the horizon, chasing the stars back into the sky, Barnaby felt a pang of sadness, but it was a different kind of sadness than he'd known before. This time it was gentle, like the soft light of dawn, because he knew that even though the stars had gone, they would be back again tonight. Worse still, their bright light chased the stars away. Every night, the sky grew darker and darker. The once familiar constellations became faint smudges, and soon even the moon hid its face, ashamed to show herself in the unnatural gloom. As the sun rose higher in the sky, bathing the world in its golden light, Barnaby stood tall and proud, a vintage street lamp at the end of an old road. He might be old-fashioned, he thought, but there is something to be said for a little old lamp with a single old-fashioned bulb that can still light up the darkness and chase away the night. For most of his life, Barnaby had also gazed up at the stars every night. The tiny pinpricks of light in the velvet sky were his constant companions. They twinkled and whispered secrets to him in their ancient language, and he listened patiently all night long. Then one day, the city decided to add more lights to the road. Barnaby, with his old-fashioned yellow glow, suddenly seemed dim and dated. It was the first one he'd seen in a long time. As it left its sparkling trail, Barnaby felt a surge of hope. Maybe the stars hadn't forgotten him after all. Maybe they were just waiting for the right moment to shine again. Barnaby felt a deep sadness growing inside him, a feeling he'd never known before. He missed the stars terribly. One night, as Barnaby stood watching the sky, a shooting star streaked across the darkness. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the night, and the road was plunged into darkness. Barnaby basked in their glow, feeling a warmth spread through him that had nothing to do with his old-fashioned bulb. He watched as shooting stars streaked across the sky, leaving sparkling trails in their wake. It was the most beautiful night of Barnaby's long life, and when they returned, he would be waiting for them, just as they were waiting for him. The end.